Hey there, Sam Ashers, and welcome to Sam Ash Live, where today we're looking at some of the awesome snares that we have available at Sam Ash. I'm here with the awesome Al Viteri. Thank you so much for being here, sir.
Thanks, awesome Dave.
I appreciate it, man. I'm, of course, your host, Dave Stutz. So, Al, you chose these snares for us today to take a look at. Why exactly this particular selection?
So this batch is it's some of our best sellers. These are great snare drums. There's something in here for everybody, every
Nice.
price point, you know,
Okay.
from beginners to professionals, whether you're recording or just playing in your basement, practicing, you know, band or whatever. And they cover a wide variety of styles as well. Few different depths, few different diameters, and again, some of our best-selling snare drums across, you know, the chain, across the
Nice.
country.
So these would be mainly for kits, I imagine. Not a lot of concert drums in here, or maybe?
Yeah, you know, yes, for kids, mainly for kids.
Mainly for
yeah,
kids.
absolutely.
I got you. Fair
Yeah.
enough. Awesome. I should also mention at the start of the stream that Al has been able to hook us up with a great giveaway today. We gave away a bass amp last week. That turned out really well. And
Nice.
Al scored us some awesome Diodario stuff. So we are giving away a package today. We got some signature sticks. Whose sticks are these, Al?
Kimberly Thompson.
Kimberly Thompson. Awesome. You get a snare head. This is a
Coated
G1 coated jazz and rock head. And then we have, I don't want to call it a stick bag. This is like a hanging off the drum kind of bag, right? I guess
Yeah.
it's a stick
They
bag.
call it the Silver Essentials. So basically, you can stick a couple of pair in there. So this is something like what a lot of the marching guys use, just like a little sling you hang off the side. Just a couple of sticks. Whether you go into rehearsal or just some guys, you know, put this on their snare drum as well, just to have access to in case
Yeah.
they drop something like that. So yeah,
That's awesome.
that's a great one. Brand
So a
new
great
from-
giveaway today.
Yeah.
So you get an awesome bag, a nice snare head, and a great pair of sticks. So I think what we're doing today, just like last week, all you have to do to be eligible, to have a chance to take these home today, is to comment below with your favorite drummer. Who is your absolute favorite drummer? We'll choose a random winner at the end, and it'll be yours.
And if you say me, that would that
If
be?
you mention Al Viteri,
No, you don't get. Yeah.
and a lot of people like that, it'll surface to the top or it'll sink right to the bottom. We'll see what happens.
Go either way.
Yeah. How can you find out about great things like this? When are we doing live streams? We usually do them on Fridays around 3:30, but if we have any special events like that, you can check out Instagram. We always promote them on Instagram, and we also have beautiful images that our photographers take of all of our gear, so you should definitely check out the Instagram page. Twitter's for all of our news and noteworthy stuff, anything new that's happening, definitely check out the Twitter page. We always mention the live streams on Twitter. Facebook, we mention them there. You may be watching it on Facebook right now and commenting below, but we also stream on YouTube now, so you can link, or you can comment below in the YouTube comment section for your favorite drummer. So check out YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, all those things, so you know exactly when we're doing stuff like this. So today we're doing a giveaway. We're taking a look at some snares. Al, what's that snare that you were playing just then?
So this is a Pearl snare drum. It's a relatively new series from the beginning of the year, the Modern Utility series. So
Nice.
this is an 8x14 specifically, this size. But it is available in a lot of different sizes. This is one of the reasons why I chose this one. Price point, you know, entry level, beginner level, but again, because of the different sizes, it comes 8x14, it comes 5x12, 13x7, or do I have it backwards? Let me just double check my math here.
12 by 7,
yeah.
13 by 5, 5.5 by 14, 6.5 by 14.
So all wood, all maple, and it comes in two finishes, either this matte black or the satin natural.
Oh, nice.
The 8-inch drums, the 8-inch depth drums, they come with split lugs, 2 lugs, and these are the CL100, the bridge lugs. So this drum, and it's only 8 lugs, 16 altogether, but 8 lugs in diameter.
Right.
So this drum really opens up. Being 8 inches, a thinner maple shell, 8 lugs, that's what allows it to breathe.
I didn't notice that before. So a lot of snares, you see just one lug, and they each
Yeah.
attach from both sides. This has split ones. What is that? Just an aesthetic thing? Does that do anything? Do you get more leverage on the head like that?
Yeah, I mean, a couple of different ways. This is a 6.5 by 14 you have in front of you, that DW, black nickel over brass. This is small. This is a 7-inch. Sometimes, to be honest with you, you don't normally see this. This is a little bit more expensive to have 2 lugs, so you have
Sure.
double the amount of lugs.
Right.
So again, this actually is a great great buy. No preference. Some guys like.
I like it.
Yeah, more lugs on the shell. Some people think it's more prohibiting. So
Right.
you just got to listen to the drum. Depends on what head, how you tune it, and how you're playing it. So
Nice.
yeah.
Now, my first kit when I was in high school was a Pearl kit. It was one of those entry-level kits in a box kind of thing. And I remember the snare being a little more shallow than that. Is this considered a deep snare? Is that average? What do you think?
This is above average. This is a deep snare drum.
Okay,
It
I
is a
gotcha.
deep snare drum. Yeah, back in the day, I mean, 5.5 inches was always kind of the what most people are used to. 6.5 inch drums, like the one you have in front of you, became a
Right.
little bit more popular just with the different styles of music, I think.
Sure.
And that's what a lot of the drum sets that come with, whether like it's kits in the box or whatever. But again, different styles of music. The 8-inch drums have become a lot more popular, and that's why Pearl answered that, as did a few other companies. But
Right.
again, in this line, in this introductory line on the lower end, affordability, you can play, again, from all the sizes. You can play anything from hip hop, reggae, small places, big places, to heavy metal, rock.
So that snare would be
funk.
good for all those styles?
This one in particular, because it's an 8-inch, mostly rock guys. A
get
lot
away
of
with that.
metal.
Oh,
it's a
sure,
bigger
sure.
drum.
Gotcha.
It's a great ballad drum, R&B, pop, because
Sure.
it's bigger. You might want to tune it down a little bit. Some guys like you get that nice old 70s sound. There's a couple of things you could put your wallet on, like we were doing before.
Right.
Or just various other, just some tape or whatever. So depending on how you tune, that's what this is for. What I was trying to get to is that in this line with all those different sizes and stuff, they got everything covered, every style of music.
Gotcha.
So yeah, this one is a little above average, is a little bit deeper than normal, an 8-inch drum by 14, which is
Well,
kind of
like you said, you got all those other sizes that you can choose from.
Yeah.
That's great. So no matter how tight you tighten these snares, it's going to be like a big open kind of sound.
yeah, I mean you could.
I mean, it'll tighten up for
crank
sure,
it.
but
Yeah,
you're not going to get like a piccolo sound out of it or anything
No,
like
no,
that.
because there's a lot more. You're moving a lot more. Yeah, there's a lot more space in between the
Right.
drum heads.
Right.
You could certainly crank it, and some guys like that too. Some guys like a tighter feel, a tighter sound, and doing that on a 8-inch drum like this, it doesn't get you that piccolo tight,
Right.
staccato short
Right.
sound. So I'll play this a little bit.
Yeah, go
A little
ahead.
more tightened up. Tight. A little tighter here on the snares. Not any dampening. I just totally changed it, It's a little choked, but you could do a variety of things. I'll put it back down and maybe get a little bit more of that paper bag 70s sound that some guys like.
Yeah. Certainly versatile. While he's doing that, I'll mention, that the snare to me has always seemed like one of those really important drums on the drum kit. I mean, every drum is important for sure, but here in New York, I know guys that will go to a club and totally accept whatever drum set they have in the back line, with toms that they bought on Craigslist 10 years ago where the heads have never been changed, but they'll always bring their own snare. They'll hit the subways with their snare. I have to have this snare. So snare is always like that really important drum that I know here in New York is really important to a lot of guys. I got to imagine people who gig all over the place carry their snares around.
Yeah, I mean, again, depending on the style that you play, this is the instrument for most of us. That
Yeah.
you kind of your signature sound along with your cymbals, just like a jazz player. That ride beat is your signature. So snare drums are definitely the loudest voice or the most recognizable voice, and it's also interchangeable. I mean, kits, let's be honest, expensive. Kits are expensive,
Yeah.
and they
Absolutely.
get more and more expensive. There's lots of great stuff at a below $1,000 and stuff. But when you get a good sound, out of your kit and you're happy with it, sometimes you get a little bored, or maybe it's a different
Sure.
style. You're playing a
Yeah.
different band, so you just swap out a snare drum. Some guys do it, song to song or set to set.
Right.
But certainly, night to night, whether again depending on their mood or depending on the style of music that they're playing, and that really changes. Your sound, your style, the whole landscape and stuff. So that's an easy way to do it, just like cymbals are
Right.
for a lot of guys. I detuned this a little bit. Let's see what we can get out of there.
Sure.
Pulling on this, so we're just kind of going raw, just so you can get the
Sure.
full scope of sound here. There you go.
Yeah, so that's a lot of nuance that you just got with a few tunings, a little changing of the snare. You get a lot of different sounds. And, I like what you mentioned about, this being the instrument, having signature tone. As a guitar player primarily, we chase tone every day. So it's interesting to think that different drummers can have their unique tone. And, one guy that came to my mind, I know we could probably do this all day, especially with you. You know every drummer that's ever existed. But Alex Van Halen always sticks out in my head as having a very unique sound. And when I hear that drum set, I always know that it's him. I can't always do that with a lot of people, but I always know the Van Halen kit.
Sure. Well, he's chasing the sound too, and it's
Yeah.
his hero, John Bonham.
Right. Yeah. There you go.
Absolutely.
We all have
Those are sounds. Stuart Copeland. He had kind of just the opposite sound, a thinner snare drum, kind of cranked a little bit. That
Right.
pretty. Most drummers, all you need to do is hear the snare drum once, and you know who
Absolutely.
it is, which is great.
For sure. All right. Well, I'm going to bang on this guy a little bit, and then I'll ask you a few questions about it. Maybe you can lead us in a good direction about this one. Let's hear this one. At here at this one.
So that is a DW black nickel over brass.
Nice.
So it's a solid brass shell, 1 millimeter thick, not terribly thick. It's considered a thin shell. It's seamless, so it's one piece. There's no welds or anything in there, and it's become a classic drum for them. It's kind of a workhorse for a lot of people. These got the true hoops on here, so they're a little bit thicker.
Nice.
They changed that a little bit a few years ago. It's got the mag throw off, which is great. It's short for magnetic.
Yeah,
And it kinda
I was
just-
feeling that. It's
yeah.
definitely a serious throw. I like this piece of hardware here.
Yeah, it's on, it's off. That's it. You're done. There's no doubt about it. You got your fine tuning on there. It comes with 20 strand, DW snares on the bottom. It comes with just a coated ambassador, single ply coated Remo head. That is a 10 lug drum, right? It's 10 lug.
Yeah.
And it's definitely, like I said, it's a workhorse. So it's brass, it's black nickel plated, and it's kind of got like a gloss finish to it. It's kind of shiny. I don't know if you could see that out there in Facebook land and stuff.
Yeah.
And it's it's a collector series. It's got the big turret, lugs. And
It's beautiful.
it's a
beautiful
great
snare.
drum. Like I said, it's one of our best sellers. It's a little, it's higher priced than this. It's a little on, the higher price side, but again, good for a lot of different styles. Great for recording. A lot of guys, it's kind of a go-to for
Right.
them.
Couple of things I noticed. One thing I might show the camera here in a second, but the head is very interesting because each lug is numbered. So you have 1 and 2. So it actually shows you to go across when you're tuning. It's not 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It's 1, 2. Let's see, where's 3 and 4? 3, 4, 5, 6. So that's pretty cool. That's a great head.
Yep.
One thing I'm always curious about, anytime it comes to like wood and shell material and things like that, I always go back to like acoustic guitar and things like that. So, you know, a rosewood bodied guitar has lots of low end and some high end sparkle, and maple tends to be bright. So we're looking at a wooden snare versus a metal snare. So what exactly are we looking at in differences of tone and things like that?
Well, you know, maple is a wood drum. It's a little, you know, it's a warmer. It's got attack. It's got bite. It's loud. You know, when you're comparing it to other woods that you use, we'll get to, you know, there's a few other wood drums that we have here. This is Babinga. This is Kapur. So this is all maple. So this is what we know. Most, you know, drums, you know, high-end drums, maple is the wood of choice, just because it kind of does it all. It's got a round sound stuff. There's birch, which basically the same price. Some people prefer birch. It's got, you know, it's got more attack, especially if you're talking about toms and stuff like that. Snare drums are different. You know, there's a lot of different tuning and stuff. They're usually not wide open. You got snares on it, so it's a little harder to hear the difference. But I think it's kind of clear here between these two. Metal's just going to be, you know, more of an attack. You're going to hear the metal as opposed to the warmth of it. And, you know, it's like anything else, but more so with drums. Drums, they flourish or don't. They die in their environment.
Okay.
You know, so, you know, we're in a room here. We got carpeting. We got brick and stuff. It's an okay, you know, drum room. But everything, you know, if we drew these curtains back even further, we'd get a different sound because it's not reverberating. This is the natural, you know, drum sound. So a lot has to do with your acoustics, and some people will choose their drum, you know, their shells and stuff based on the acoustics of where they're playing. Yeah.
Wow.
Some people don't like metal drums outside. If you're playing outside or in a tent, because it's concrete, you got a you know, party tents that, you know, most people use. It's kind of bright and bouncy and stuff. There's not a whole lot of body. I prefer a wood drum myself, and a deeper one, as do a lot of people. Some people don't. Some people like the metal sound, you know, a thinner sound, not to get in the way, you know, have the spectrum, you know, the frequency spectrum like that. So if your snare's up here, bass and, you know, your toms are down here, and bass guitar and everything's different. It depends on the person, you know, really does, you know. That Alex Van Halen sound you were talking about, it's a metal sound, you know, it's a big open metal sound. You know, so there's a lot behind, you know, shell materials, and a lot of it is just a matter of taste. You know?
You know, I always get fascinated. I mention this probably on every stream, but the language that we have to adopt as musicians, the vernacular and explaining tone and things like that. It's like, how do you explain a sound? Because on a maple acoustic, people tend to say it's kind of trebly, it's bright, things like that. But on a maple snare head, I heard you say things like warm, things like that. So, you know, and snares can be crisp, they can be thin, they can be thick. You know, it's just really cool, this language that we have.
Yeah, when you talk about wood characteristics, you know, I guess being in the business and talking about it, reading, you know, different things, I tend to think that way a little bit more. But that's why it's helpful, and I do it as well. It's like, hey, what's that sound? You know, get that, you know, that Dave Grohl sound he gets on that song. You know, whether it's guitar or whatever else. You know, if you're going for a vibe, and that's, you know, that's a great way to express what you're going for, what you're after, if that's what you're looking to. We get it all the time in the stores, right? Hey, I want, you know, that sound I heard from, you know, on that record. Sure, he uses these cymbals, or this guy uses that, or, you know, no, she uses, you know, Ludwig drums, and, you know, it's wide open.
Interpreting the will of the customer through just whatever they can explain, you know. That's awesome. Well, I'll tell you what, while we trade out the next two, what are we talking about today? We're talking about snares. We're doing a giveaway, right? We talked about that. We're giving away a little stick bag that hangs off of the snare, a set of artist drumsticks.
Kimberly Thompson,
and a snare head. So definitely tune in for that. We will announce a winner at the end of the stream. All you have to do is comment below, who is your favorite drummer? Coming to you on Facebook Live, YouTube Live. And I think I heard that there's something going on samash.com for the next few days where if you put something in your shopping cart, you may get a special lottery discount or something like that. There's you might find a little coupon off of whatever you're looking at. So check that out. Go to samash.com, throw some stuff in the cart, and see what comes up. But I believe that's the promo that we're running. Otherwise, we have lots of great financing in the store. For the Sam Ash card, you can often do 6 months, 12 months, 24 months, 36 months sometimes. Financing on all this stuff. Select models, $299 or more, so definitely check that out if you're in the mood for a snare. Sign up on samash.com to possibly be a part of that promo we were talking about. Is that what we're talking about, Dave? Yeah. For the shopping cart exclusive thing that I mentioned, sign up on samash.com. And also want to mention, I didn't mention before, if you have any questions for Al, I mean, Al is the guy. If you have drumming questions, throw them up. Al can answer them. Any question you might have about any piece of drumming history that you could possibly think of. Google a hard question just to ask him because he'll answer it. Al, you want to play it first and then talk about it?
Sure.
All right, let's hear it. That one looks awesome.
You got a high tuning on that one there, Dave.
Okay, maybe we'll bring it down a little bit.
All right, so you want to know about this one?
Yeah, what do we got? That
So-
looks really deep.
This is new from Ludwig this year. So this is an updated version of a workhorse. So this is a Black Beauty snare drum. So this is a brass snare drum. It's seamless as well, but they introduced a few 8-inch drums, and this was one of them this year. So Black Beauty 8-inch. You have 5x14s, you have 6.5x14s, which is what most,
Right.
probably the most popular. And now there's an 8-inch. Again, answering, people have been asking for a bigger drum, from them, just because of the different styles.
You hear a lot of talk in the stores about the Black Beauty. I hear that name a lot in the drum shop.
Yeah.
It's a famous drum, heralded for how excellent it is.
Yeah, tons of recordings with it. Again, it's a brass drum. It records great. You could do a lot with it. It's very sensitive. It's a 1 millimeter shell as well. It's got the classic, bead in the shell. This one, this is cool. They updated this. This is kind of new. I'm going to take this off the stand just to show you guys.
Go for it.
It's got a really simple throw off. The old throw-offs, most people know, is a P85. Most people know them who've had either this or a Superphonic and LM400. Know the model number because they've had to change it in the past.
Oh, okay.
This is a new model number. It's a new throw-off. It's called a P84, and it's an updated version. As you can see or hear, it's quieter, and it's very, very, very simple as well. It's on, it's off. It's got a tension knob on it as well that it locks in place. It's open up here. It's great. So they've upgraded it. I like the butt here. It's got the keystone on it. This comes with the keystone badge. These come out of Monroe, South Carolina.
And a fingerprint machine.
Yeah, right. These still come with medium Weathermaster Ludwig heads. So these are Ludwig heads still that come on there.
Great.
Single ply head. And so this is the 8-inch version, brand new this year. Again, they have a few other 8-inch they came out with. They have the Copperphonic, which they came out with a couple of years ago. Kapur Drum, which is really nice, different sizes with different lugs and stuff like that. But that's also in an 8-inch now. This one, again, I chose this one. This is a very popular Black Beauty, and I think well on its way to becoming a popular size for a lot of people. Again, many different styles: R&B, rock, country, metal.
Nice.
It does it all, and it's still really sensitive. Again, you got this. We got it kind of cranked. Down a little bit. You want to talk about?
Sure, yeah. One thing, he was taking a look at that throw. It's a really classy throw. Definitely go to samash.com and take a look at this head a little more, or this snare a little more close up, because it had a really cool design. When he pulls it up, it kind of raises and locks into place. And I love the snare tension knob too, because I've always been a watch guy, and to me it looks like the crown on a really fine watch, like a Rolex or something. It looks really classy. So that's really cool. So we have a Kapur drum. So we're looking at metal again. That's really cool. So Al's taught us a lot about the metal drums and what to expect from them. And I love it. I think it's really classy. And that's another thing I love about Sam Ash Live is that a lot of times you can go to the site, you can look at the stuff. When you go down to the store, you can definitely play them, but sometimes there's a lot of noise going on. And what we like to do with Sam Ash Live is give you a chance to hear it just as it is in a clean environment. You can look at them, and then you can come here and listen to them. And yeah, so that's it. So we've taken it down a little bit.
Yeah, yeah.
All right,
We'll
go for it. Let's hear it a little more apropos, I guess we'll say, of snare.
Yeah, that's kind of more like
Yeah, that definitely sounds really nice. More what you would expect out of a snare for sure. That's awesome.
throaty, big snare like that.
So let me ask you, when it comes to like an acoustic guitar, you have to tune it all the time. If I bring it in from my car into here, humidity can change it, different things like that. Do you find yourself when you go to a gig having to like tune your snare all the time?
Not all the time. It depends. If I'll leave my stuff in the car during the day at work, and it's a sunny day like it is. Things will tend to tune down a little bit.
Gotcha.
It's just plastic heads. They've replaced calfskin. So calfskin.
Right.
That's why it was replaced. Calfskin was very susceptible to weather, humidity. You'd have to light it up. Light a flame near it to loosen it up. With an expand and contract. Yeah. And
That's awesome.
just like conga heads. That's why things have gone to plastic.
Right.
But there's still when there's when they've been sitting long enough, either way, you're going to have to change it. Sometimes depending on how hard you play. Some guys, I do it sometimes myself. You do have to tweak it. Usually not by the end of a song, but sometimes by the end of a set or by the end of the night. Because if you're playing. If we were able to do slow motion and stuff, you could see the stress that a head is, that a drum goes under. We can get into that for a second, which is kind of, I think, very important for a lot of people to realize. We play with wood sticks for a reason. There's give here.
Sure.
If there was no give, we'd be receiving all of that,
Right.
the friction, the vibration and stuff like that. Same thing with the drum head and the rim and stuff. Don't forget this rim is pulling down on the head, but if you're hitting rim shots, this is going down. The rim is going down. The tension rods aren't going anywhere. So there's a gap, for a split second. The head vibrates. Again.
So it can loosen up.
Totally. Things depending on how hard and how often you do it, how big his sticks are. Some guys lay into it. But these are only this is like a 5B side. But some guys, laying it with a 2B on the butt end, and a guy as big as you. There's movement there. Something's got to give.
Right.
So if I don't say we're abusing. If the song calls for it. If that's how the player plays, it is what it is, and that's how you get your sound. Great, but there's things happening. There's things giving. This is this splinters away. This is going to break. Rims they don't bend. You're pushing down on them. They move. It's a natural thing. So it shouldn't happen too often. There are things that if you tend to hit hard. There are lug locks. There's different kinds of lug locks. There's some companies, DW I should mention, they have a finer tuning. This is I think a 50 count on these of threads.
Oh, I see.
So finer threads means it's going to take a lot more turns to unscrew this. So that's good. There's going to be less movement. So you may have movement, but it's going to take more for something to pop out again while you're playing. If you forget to, if you're playing harder a certain night, or you just went from one gig to the next and haven't tuned it or anything like that. There tends to be less movement. There's different ways. There's different things you could use that's going to stop that if you're that type of player.
You mentioned the different heads, right, going from calfskin to plastic. Most of my percussion experience comes from the educational side, being in concert band, marching band, drumline, that sort of thing. And I remember talk of a time when marching snare heads were made of Kevlar, and they said it was like hitting concrete. So you're talking about having give, and they said it was incredibly uncomfortable to play these heads, and I don't think they use them anymore.
You can get them in some of the heads, yeah.
Wow.
You know, that used to be a thing too. When they first came out with the Kevlar heads, talking about what gives and stuff like that, some guys would come in and, you know, I can't get my snare drum to tune up anymore. You know, the head's not going anywhere, and I'm popping lugs. Well, because the head is strong, it's doing what it's supposed to do.
Yeah.
And now you're transferring that, you know, that down to the lugs, and something's going to give. You can't just keep, you know, cranking stuff. Yeah, there's different kinds from different companies. You know, great companies like Evans and Remo. There's been so many changes and stuff over the years. Kevlar is still used, depending on what the purpose is. Again, marching drums, you know, usually much thicker. You know, and it's for projection. You know, you got bigger drums.
Sure, you're in the middle of a field. You got to hit the top of the stands.
Yeah.
That makes sense. All right, well, let's take a look at this guy. This one looks really awesome. A little tighter of a drum. But I'm excited to hear it. Now, as many of you can probably notice, I can't outplay Al, but maybe I can outflash him. Let me see what I can do. Cool. I like it. Really nice drum. So definitely smaller.
I got a question.
Yes.
That was flashy?
Is that what they call? I never memorized
that was
the
flashy.
riffs,
All right.
but we called it triplet diddle.
Triplet diddle?
Right. You offset the diddles in between each triplet and roll it, but it might be flashy. I don't know.
Flashy.
Okay.
So flashy, I missed it.
Right. So we got a Tama.
So these drums, much like the Pearl Modern Utility,
Right.
This series of drums for Tama is called the Soundworks, and they have a couple of different. There's a couple of different shell types and a couple of different sizes. Again, a very, very low priced introductory level, but a very pro sounding, drum. This is a Kapur drum. Kapur is a type of wood, and that's a East Asian type of wood, tropical hardwood. They do use it in construction. I had to look that up to see where else they use it. Some other companies have been using it. Drum companies, I know from Yamaha's used them, used the type of wood, and so has Pearl. So this is, I think, Tama's like first time in it. So it's got a natural like reddish brown finish. You can't really see on the inside, but it's a natural brown finish.
It's beautiful. It looks great. I love the look of it.
It's technically, an exotic wood. So this is a 7x13. And it's got the sound arc, so it's it kind of harks tip of the hat to like the stick saver, like in the old Slingerlands. So these hoops go in a little bit more. Yeah, it's a great drum. So again, Soundworks comes in different sizes: 7x13, 6.5, 5.5, and it comes in a few different shell types. So there's Kapur, there's maple, and there's also steel. And then with the steel drums, it's got a decent thickness shell, and those even come as low as a 5.5 by 10 inch diameter, 5.5 inch depth snare drum. And the great thing about them, they're all the same price. They're about
Oh, nice. No matter what shell you get.
About a couple $100. No matter what shell, no matter what size, it's all about the same thing. Just around $200 or so.
So super affordable. And I love the way it sounds. That was a great sounding snare. So to pick that up at an economy price, that's amazing. And where can you go to look up these prices? You can go into your local Sam Ash store, samash.com. You can call 1-800-4-SAM-ASH, which I believe Dave will throw up in a second, is 1-800-472-6274. Ooh, I got it right. That's awesome.
Look at that.
And what are we doing?
That was fancy.
See, yeah, that was fancier than the silly stick work. What are we doing? We're looking at snares. We're doing a giveaway, which we're going to do after these last 2 snares. We're doing a snare head, a set of, I'm going to drop these right here. There we go.
How are we
Why
doing
did I
on
put
time,
them so
Dave?
far back? No, how are we doing on time? We're good. We're going to finish real soon. We're going to do one last thing. So we got the Evans head we're giving away, the Diodario artist sticks, and the stick bag. That's coming up very soon. All you have to do to enter is comment below your favorite drummer. Check us out on Instagram, Twitter, YouTube, Facebook. Let's look at our final 2 snares and wrap this up. And go about our wonderful weekends with percussion in our hearts. And that's one thing I'll always say that I love about drums, right? You know, some people, they walk by, they hear a guitar player playing something, they might think, oh, that's nice, you know, it sounds good, but I can't really relate to it. But everyone relates to rhythm. You walk to a rhythm, you swing your arms to a rhythm. So people always tend to be drawn to drummers. Exactly. That was very rhythmic.
I swing my arms, I do.
This one is heavier than all the rest.
Yeah, it's a thicker shell.
Yeah, man, that is definitely beefier.
Yeah, why don't you start with that?
All right, I'll start with this.
That is a 12 ply, 10 millimeter shell. And it's
12
Babinga,
ply,
10 millimeter.
10 millimeter.
Yep. And that's part of the Tama SLP Sound Lab project. Again, it's a series of drums. So these are a step above the SoundWorks. Go ahead, you play it.
Cool.
I won't say anymore.
Let's do it. Great snare. I love it. Sounds good. So deep, thick shell you were talking about. Definitely feels sturdy. Feels like a workhorse snare. That's for sure. What did we not discuss about it?
Well, this is a limited edition. It's been around a while. We've had them in stock for a little while. I do have them across the chain. 6.5 by 14 in the natural Babinga is something that you find in the SLP
Babinga.
line. So
Nice.
this is the G Babinga, they call it. And so yeah, 8-inch drum. It's got black nickel hardware. What you'll notice is that it is a 16 lug, 10 on the top, 10 on the bottom. They're 2 different lugs. And these are Star Classic lugs, so you'll find those on the better drums. And you can see the thickness. So this is a 12 millimeter 10 ply.
Very
Or 12
thick.
ply 10 millimeter, sorry, I said it backwards that time.
That's okay.
So yeah, there's a lot of meat to it. You know, and the thing about thicker drums, thicker shells, you can lean into them a little bit more to get a sound out of them. Some of the thinner, that's the thing about the metal drums, some of the metal drums we were trying, including this one here, this one I'll play in a minute.
Right.
Thinner shells, they're a little bit more sensitive, but they can also be loud. These drums are loud. You hit them harder, they go louder. You know, there's
Sure.
a lot more wood. I tend to like, it's something like Sonar did, you know, back in the day too. More plies, thinner plies, you know, and a certain thickness. That just kind of really resonates nice. I really like that drum a lot. And again, it is a very, very popular drum.
Nice.
Very popular drum.
Who's it good for, you think?
Who's it good for? Again, you know, much the same. Like I said before, I'm realizing how, you know, that was an 8-inch drum. This is a 6.5. I played a 8-inch Black Beauty. That's kind of the style. It's everybody, you know.
Sure.
It's rock, hip hop, country, R&B. These are great ballad drums. These are great sensitive drums.
Depends on how you hit it, huh?
Yeah, I mean, you know, it depends on the player's touch and and what you put on it and what you put into it, obviously, in terms of how you play. This one a little bit thicker. You know, again, some people think of it as more of a rock drum. You know, an arena drum. It's a good live drum, but it also records great. You know, I don't know how well you could hear it here. We're kind of just going quickly between drums here, so we're not giving it the best setup. But
Right.
But I think that, yeah, again, like you said, this is one of my favorite drums as well, and it's a very popular drum. It's great sound. I've used it before myself.
How'd your sticks end up over here?
I have no idea.
Yeah, I'm looking down. What kind of?
I put them here, sorry.
Oh, I was going to say, what magic trick did we pull here? Well, I want you to talk about this one, but then I think we're going to let you go out on that one.
Okay.
So before we do, let's go ahead and do the giveaway. So we're going to ask our producer to run a name through our random name machine and choose our winner. Just again to show real quick what you're winning today. Our giveaway, courtesy of Alvatiri and the folks over at Evans and Diodario. Looking at a rock jazz sound profile, G1 coated head, an awesome stick bag to hang off of your snare, and some signature Kimberly Thompson sticks. So really cool. So I'm going to ask Al to give me a drum roll, and then I'm going to read the name.
Ask me to give you a drum roll.
Al, can I have a drum roll, please?
Sure.
And our winner is, throw it up on the screen, Dave, Stephanie Zawadowicz. Stephanie Zawadowicz. That's got to be your name. That's your name. That's your name.
Better you than me.
Who was the favorite drummer? We got a name. Who was the favorite drummer? Is that the favorite drummer? Are you a famous drummer? Stephanie Zawadowicz? Zawadowicz? Do we have a favorite drummer, Dave?
Yeah, I lost it.
All right, 1 second. We're kidding.
Replaced by the Force.
It got replaced by the All right. Well, you have a favorite drummer. We appreciate who it is. It was probably Alex Van Halen. It was probably Alvatiri. So we appreciate that. So Stephanie, please. Travis Barker.
Travis Barker.
I love Travis Barker, man. Blink 182.
Nice.
That guy wails. He's incredible. Great drummer. One of my favorites too. Thanks for that. They always choose someone who I love too, but I guess we all love everybody in this industry, right?
Good drummers.
Yeah.
It's not to love.
Yeah, well, it's not to love. So please private message us. We'll ask you a few questions and get that shipped out to you. But thank you for watching. Thank you for participating. So Al, we're on our final drum. I think one of the coolest drums by an awesome company.
Yeah.
Please tell us what you got in front of you.
So this is a 6.5 by 14 inch drum. This is a pork pie drum. Bill Dittamore out of California, great guy. Been making great drums for a while. He also makes great thrones. This is a 6.5 by 14. This is a pig iron. This is an iron shell. Again, not you can hear it. It's a very thin shell, 1 millimeter iron drum. This is just 8 lugs. These are bridge lugs, so low mass, not a lot on them. It really gives this thing a lot of room to breathe. Simple, throw off. This is all standard pork pie stuff. The snares, the throw off. It's just a simple throw off on or off. It comes with a Remo coated ambassador head from Taiwan. This is a Taiwan drum.
Nice.
Totally reasonably priced. It's under $300. I love this drum. I love it just because it's like, it's one of those things you hear. It's like, wow, this is really great. And then you hear the price, and you're like, wow, really? It
Nice.
records great. I have one of these myself.
Nice. There it is.
I have a lot of these, but and again, no question why it's popular. It's a great look. I think it's a really classic look.
It looks really nice.
Goes with any drum kit, no matter what, how vintage kit, new kit. If you have a
It's a good
lacquer
You can
finish
drop
or
that into any kit.
Totally. It's great for anything rock and roll, big band, country, hip hop. It covers it all. Not a particularly loud drum, but it's smooth. It's really what it is.
Right. Well, guys, we're going to let Al take us out on this snare. Thank you so much for watching. Al, thanks for being here. You gave us
Dave.
exquisite insight into these snares. We really appreciate it. Definitely check out these snares at samash.com. Go into your local Sam Ash store. Call 1-800-472-6274. Don't forget, if you sign up on samash.com and throw something in your cart, there's a chance you might get a special coupon off of what you're getting today. So definitely shop on samash.com and go into this weekend full of upbeat happiness in your heart. We hope you have a great weekend. Thank you so much for tuning in, and we'll see you next time.
And congrats to Stephanie.
Yeah, Stephanie, congrats on that. And thanks for tuning in, and thanks for loving Travis Barker. So Al, without further ado, please take us out on the pork pie snare.
Sweet.